darling?
Yeah, fine. I've got some beady eyes on me at the back there. I'm watching my mum.
We ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear music. It's not my name being called, that's all right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
And a very warm welcome to everybody here in church today. Thank you for being here with us in person. Big warm welcome too to those people watching us online at home today. Welcome to you too. Great delight to welcome back to our platform this lovely lady. We were denied her presence a couple of times through different things arising in the past, but you're here.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got the lovely Phyllis Rumney with us today to take the service. Phyllis, it's always a joy seeing you and Peter. I'll include you, sir, so I don't want to leave out the driver and Toby. Yes, it's odd. Don't want to leave anybody out. Don't want to cause offence. So, Phyllis, we're looking forward to the service with you.
Thank you.
As I would always remind you, please, could you just ensure that your mobile phones are indeed turned off during the service? That would be wonderful. People watching at home, it doesn't matter. You can keep your phone on because we can't see you, so do what you like. Anyway, without further ado, I will introduce Phyllis for the opening blessing. Thank you, my darling.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
The sun was shining this morning and it seems to have gone in now. But still, the love and the light is here in this sanctuary. Let us get that love all together. Let us all join and feel that wonderful feeling inside each and every one. As we say, dear Heavenly Father, we say thank you for your love. We say thank you for your presence in our life. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so lucky to have this wonderful sanctuary, to come together and gather as an extended family to each and every one of us. So the love that we have and what we follow is all within your hands. We ask that those on the other side of the veil will join with us this afternoon. Give us that proof of the continuation of life, to be able to give us the feeling of that love, of their presence with us. So may we leave this afternoon in full of love and light, laughter and in truth. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Phyllis. Beautiful. And now, if you care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And we now turn our hearts, our minds, our thoughts and our intents out to the art of healing. That healing gift is nothing that has been limited to a special few. It is nothing that can only be exercised through vigorous training. It's just that inherent ability within each and every one of us to express love. Love for ourselves, love for our fellow man, love for our planet. That love vibration carries that healing tone in and throughout the world. So during this time, we'd invite you, accompanied by the music, to send your thoughts out to wherever you are drawn. It is for no one to tell you where to direct that healing balm. It could be to yourselves, your family, your friends, our nations, the environment. It matters not. You follow your heart's course to that destination. And we'd also invite you during this time, If there is anybody in particular you know who is in need of that healing balm to surround them, please just raise your arm. And when I point to you, simply call out their name. That is all that is required. The intelligence of spirit understands and acts accordingly. So enjoy this short time, this time of peace, meditation, and of calmness. Divine and infinite Spirit, that whom we call God, we thank you for this time of healing and that gentle reminder that we can link in with this energy wherever and whenever we choose to act in accord to the great plan where we are all of service to each other. Amen. I would now like to invite Phyllis for the reading and followed by your address, my darling. Thank you.
Well, actually, at the moment, I'm not certain what reading I'm going to do.
Well, we all feel like that, don't we?
Well, it's been like that this morning because there's so many books that we can read. And in turn, I feel by spirit what I need to read to you all. But there's so much knowledge, and even in little small books that are so interesting. And I was thinking, oh, I'll try and do that one. Then I put it down, then Spirit said no. So this is really how it went. And so I'm going to read, which is an old one, and some of you may have heard it. But it's through a child's eyes, because we are all aware, well, I hope you are, as always being sat here, that we've all got God within us, and each and every one. So this is really something through a child's eyes. It's an old man who sat in his rocker day after day, fixated into his chair, and he promised not to remove himself from this spot until he saw God. On one fine spring afternoon, the old man was rocking in his chair, relentless in his visual request of God. He saw a young girl playing across the street. The little girl's ball rolled into the old man's yard. She ran and picked it up. And as she bent down to reach for the ball, she looked at the old man and said, "Oh, Mr. Old Man, I see you every day rocking in your chair and staring off into nothing. What is it that you're looking for? Oh, my dear child, you're yet too young to understand, replied the old man. Maybe, replied the young girl, but my mamma always told me if I had something in my head, I should talk about it. She says to get a better understanding. My mamma always says, Miss Lizzie, share your thoughts, share, share, share. My mamma always says. Oh, well, Miss Lizzie, child, I do not think you could help me, grunted the old man. Possibly not, Mr. Old Man, sir, but maybe I can help by just listening. All right, Miss Lizzie, child, I'm looking for God. With due respects, Mr. Old Man, sir, you rock back and forth in that chair day after day in search of God, Miss Lizzie responded, very puzzled. Why, yes, I need to believe before my death that there is a God. I need a sign that I have yet to be seen. See one, said the God. A sign, sir? A sign, said Miss Lizzie, now quite confused by the old man's words. Mr. Old Man, sir, God gives you a sign when you breathe your next breath, when you can smell fresh flowers, when you can hear the birds singing, when all the babies are born. Sir, God gives you a sign when you laugh and when you cry, and when you feel the tears roll from your eyes. This is a sign in your heart to hug and to love God. God gives you a sign in the wind and in the rainbows and in the change of the seasons. All of the signs are there, but do you not believe them, Mr. Old Man, sir? God is in you and God is in me. There is no searching, because he, she, or whatever may be, is here all of the time. With one hand on her hip and the other hand flailing in the air, Miss Lizzie continued, my mamma says, Miss Lizzie, if you're searching for something monumental, you have closed your eyes, because to see God is to see simple things. To see God is to see life in all things. And that's what my mamma says. Miss Lizzie, child, you're quite insightful in your knowledge of God, but this that you speak of is yet not quite enough. Miss Lizzie walked up to the old man and placed her young childish hands over his heart and spoke softly in his ear. Sir, it comes from in here, not out there. Find it in your heart, in your own mirror. Then, Mr. Old Man, sir, you will see the signs. Miss Lizzie, walking back across the street, turned to the old man and smiled. Then she bent down to smell the flowers and shouted, Mamma always says, Miss Lizzie, if you're looking for something monumental, you have closed your eyes. And I think that's lovely. We all feel that God has lost us, left us at some time or other. But it's very true. God is in us all, and how we see God and how we communicate with that God. And it is so important to know that God is around us. And there are so many people around us that do not understand God or his presence within all our lives. For we walk with God in our hearts every day. I don't know why, if it is because we're spiritualists and we look for the good things and things. We look for the flowers and we stop and think of the things that are blossoming. While I was away, I was given a rose. So was everybody else in the restaurant, actually. So I'm not going to say someone gave it to me. As we walked into the restaurant, we were all given the red rose, and it was lovely. And I thought, oh, it was wonderful, and I thought, well, I'm only here for a few days. But I kept it, and I put it in our room in a water bottle, what you have water in, because you can't drink the water over there, so you've got bottles all the time. So if I kept my empty bottle and filled the water up and kept the rose, and each day the petals just opened, just a little bit more. And each day I saw a beauty which was different from the day before. And do we all study things like that? Maybe it's because I was on holiday and I had time to study it. But just to see a flower is, to me, it was like a child just coming into life as it opens up and it comes forward. But this rose was not even full out. So I hope the chambermaid keeps it for the next person that's going into the room, because it will be out just that little bit more by then, and she won't have had it given to her, but I'm sending it from me to the next person who goes into that room. So I thought it's lovely to have it. We bumped into, that evening, we bumped into a couple, and she said, I didn't have a rose. She's one of these ladies that can afford to keep going on holiday. She's already booked twice for next year. But that's beside the point. And she said, I didn't accept it because it only goes to waste. And I thought, how terrible to think like that, that beautiful rose, she wouldn't have it. But where I have had it, and for had 3 days of watching the beauty of it opening, she's denied herself that beauty. Oh, well, it'll only it'll only die. And that was her attitude. And I wondered if life treats her like that. You know, she treats other people. Well, I do know she does. Because when she knew I was a spiritualist, she ignored me for the rest of the holiday. She saw I sat down and she was coming down, and she quickly went down the stairs. But that is life, and that is ignorance. But I appreciate everything I see. And that flower meant a lot to me, because I could actually had time to see the beauty of it opening. I wasn't rushing doing the housework and things like that, but I do love beauty, and that red rose meant a lot. And I felt, in a way, that came from God, because I mean, just because you're away, don't stop saying your prayers. You don't say, good morning, God, thank you for this new day. Thank you for the beginning of my rest of my life, because every day is the beginning of the rest of your life. It's something else to explore, something else to experiment. But to see beauty just in something small like that was life. I mean, we went out there because I've got family. I've got a great-grandson out there who's 14 months old now. So I hadn't seen him for a few months, so I've seen the growth in him. So that flower was showing me the same as that child is beginning to grow, and everything just rounds. He's now beginning to know he's got a temper. You know, like all children, they forget the emotions. Because if you stop and think about it, we're all born with love in our hearts. We're all born out of love, out of the conception of love. And is that what a child is born? Hate and fear is indoctrinated from other things that happen to them during their life. Because if you stop and think, that baby is all love, there's nothing else. It's only bad things that happen to them during their life. And when you hear things that you don't really want to hear, that changes us as we go, it's really what we feel inside and what we're surrounded with at the time. So we really have to be certain. As I was talking about this little young book I've got, and it was saying about the elements that we all need to get through life. It's a Mexican theory, and it was beautiful, but I still never seem to get through the first one, the first theory of life, and that is the importance of the word, of what we say and how we explain ourselves. What you say to other people and what you hear other people say. Because things resonate. one of my brothers said to me, oh, they were talking about, I'm the youngest of 9 children, so you can remember, they didn't want me, the older boys, and they said, oh, she'll never make anything of her life. And you know, even today, if I try and sit an exam, I can still hear them saying, she'll never make anything of her life. And that's gone on, for 70 years. So it makes you stop and think, what people say actually stays in your life. If you tell people, you can see how some go anorexics because someone said, oh, isn't she fat? You know, you can understand what happens because it's there in your mind and you can never try and get rid of it. Isn't it a shame that, so we really need to be careful of what we say. You've got to remember, you've got to love yourself too, because even if you're detrimental to somebody else, you're being detrimental to yourself because you even thought about it. So it's in your mind, as well as handing it over to someone else. But that person may live with that for the rest of their lives. So we all have to be careful. Mind you, there's many things I shouldn't have said in my life. I mean, if you stop and think about it, through arguments and tantrums and tempers and different things, we all can look back. But for the last few years, I've really stopped to think what I say and always be pleasant to somebody. I don't speak my mind as much as I used to. But no, none of us does. We learn as we go along. But it is what we say to other people that's absorbed. I hope talking to you this afternoon, something will absorb to you, that as you say something, make sure it's positive, make sure it's in love, make sure it's understanding, that you understand that person as well, because each one of us is individual, each one of us thinks of something different, each one of us has got a special destiny in life. We never know what it is. I always feel when we've completed our destiny, it's time to go home. Makes you time to think. I say God bless you, but remember it's the word that's important. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Phyllis. That was beautiful, beautiful. And so true. You know, we don't monitor sometimes what we actually say. Words come out, and when you listen to them closely, you just think, oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you. Now go on to our hymn this afternoon, during which Sue will take the collection for the further work of this your church. Open my eyes, I may see. The verse there in red says refrain. Doesn't mean we don't have to sing that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ted. You've been rumbled.
Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth thou sendest clear. And while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mind that I may read more of thy love in word and deed. What shall I fear while yet thou dost lead? Only for light from thee I plead. Silently now I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my mind, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love with thy children thus to share. Silently now I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine.
The years we sang that,
They're
opening
not
up
those words.
circles.
That's not the words I used to sing.
Oh, you had the adult version, didn't you?
That's very true. Because I used to sit with Marjorie Fry,
Oh, right, yes.
and we sang that every evening before we started Circle.
And I sat with one of Marjorie Fry's pupils who continued that. I think I sang that song every week for about 9 years.
You see, we come from the same school.
Indeed we do, indeed we do. So now, before I hand over to the lovely Phyllis for her demonstration today, just a reminder that we are part of this conversation. Phyllis and the spirit world are not here telling you what is going on, they are conversing with you. So that means that you have to be part of that conversation. So please join in with a yes, a no, or a maybe. Don't give out your, oh yes, that was my great uncle Arthur. Do you know what? He did all this and all that. We don't want to know that because Spirit will tell us that, not you tell us that. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah, all right then. Phyllis, my darling, thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah, when you started to play that, all of a sudden I was in Marjorie's circle.
I was in Barbara's circle. Well,
Yeah, Barbara,
straight
yeah.
there, yeah.
Yes, yes, I was sat with Barbara.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I sat with Barbara as well. He was in my circle, so it shows how it goes on. It's funny enough, the strictness the circle is, the more you get in tune with Spirit. But no, a lovely experience, but going back, what, 30 years ago.
just a while.
just a little while, but it does bring love to you. My lovely, can I come to you, please? Yeah, I've got to come between the two of you. Hmm?
Yes.
The gentleman, I feel your wife is in the spirit world.
Yes.
You had a beautiful connection with your wife. You were she's here to say that she is very well in the spirit world. That she has been, she say, your life together, you two did everything together. All decisions were made together. She had a lovely warmth about her. As I'm getting her, I've got a beautiful, warm personality that she's coming through with you. She was a very smart lady.
Yes.
She dressed very well. And she's very intelligent as well, because I've got a really bright mind with this lady. But she kept a lot of things to herself because she had great pride in herself.
Yes.
And the way she went about things. She had the ability to see both sides of a coin.
Yes.
She knew, I understand, she could see your point of view and she could see hers, because she always used to say there's a third side to this.
Yes.
This is how she is putting it. You sense your wife around you at times.
Yes.
She wants you, she said she's having to come today to confirm your thoughts, because you have been sending your thoughts up to her.
Yeah.
And she's coming today to say that she does listen to what you say, because there's not a day goes past without you don't talk to her. All right, then this is what she's saying, but she is there, and she listens.
Yes.
And she said, you are the one that's been left and you're lonely. This
Yes.
is, she said, she feels you have got this emptiness within you at this time. But she's telling you not to worry, that things, she's keeping her eye on you, but you're not eating right. You're not doing it right at times. But she said she's around you, and she's with you when you go to bed at night,
Thank you.
because that's when you talk to her.
Yes.
You sit on the edge of the bed,
Yes.
she's telling me, and talk.
Yes.
And she said she hears you, and she always kisses you good night. And I'm going to say God bless you. Thank you for letting me share your wife this afternoon, because I really felt it was needed.
Thank you.
Because you needed some upliftment from the emptiness that you're feeling. And that is how she's put it. I say, God bless you. Lovely lady over there. But it's the love of the Spirit that's coming through that I feel so much to be with you.
Thank you.
And I'll say, God bless you. Can you understand exactly what was being said to him?
For Ted, yes.
If it's Ted, yeah. But you've got a lady in the spirit world. I think it's your mum.
Yes.
But this isn't your mum. Is this your mum that's come through? It's your mum. All right? But there's so much love and thanks to you for your support within the family. This is how she's putting it. She wants to say thank you very much, because you supported this person, you know, all through since her passing and before.
Okay.
All right? You've always been there. And this is how she's putting it. And she wants to say thank you. This lady wants to say thank you to you for all that you're doing. And I said,
Oh,
to you?
they're not part of the same
No,
family.
no. Your mother's in the spirit world.
Yes.
But his wife is the same time is saying to you, thank you very much.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Yes.
Can you understand?
Yes, yes.
I've got
yeah.
your mum here, but I've got his wife as well. It seems
Yes.
they're up there having a good flab up there
Oh,
at the moment. But his wife is saying thank you so much, because you've been the support.
Oh.
I met since she's passed, and you were a little while beforehand as well. And that is what she's saying, thank you to you.
All right.
All right. But your mum was a different type of lady
Yes.
to her.
Yes.
Your mum was a real get up and go lady.
Mhm.
I really feel a different persona with her, you know,
Yeah.
strong lady in her own will. And she's saying, I've got an upright lady, very strong. She knows what she feels is right. Nobody else knows it's right but her. Can you understand?
Yeah.
I'm not being derogatory or anything, but she's got to be right all the time, the way she stood there. Yes, I'm dressed well. I like nice things. Sheila is telling me. But before she passed the spirit, did she have trouble with her back?
Yes.
Because all of a sudden, as I'm talking to you, I'm getting backache. You know, a bit of pressure, and I feel my legs are going like this.
Bit like me, yes.
We're all getting like that.
Yeah.
But this is how I felt before she was poorly before she went over to the spirit world for some time.
Yes.
There's a deterioration in her latter years, and physically and mentally.
Yes.
I want to say mentally as well, because I'm getting that scrambled egg feeling in my head. Well, I'm always getting scrambled egg, honestly. But this is, you don't understand how it is with her. But in her heyday, she was full of life. She couldn't always show her love.
Definitely
I can't show you love. I'm there, I'm me, get on with it. This is awful to say that, but that's how I really feel. So you had to just get on with life. She was there if she's needed, but only if you really needed, you know? That is her opinion. But she is there. She said, well, I did my best. And that's the way she put it, I did my best, and she's just shrugging her shoulders over it. But that was the way she was while she was here on the earth. She wasn't that ever-loving mum at all. But I feel there was a time when you went your way and she went her way, because the two together clashed big time. And she said, but didn't you do well? You've kept your feet on the ground.
Yes.
And this is what she's telling me. Well, she kept her feet on the ground. I must have done something. She's still that same type of person in the spirit world. She hasn't changed very much, but she still loves you. But she couldn't show it because that was her. A bit on the rough side, you know. I've got to say, sometimes you have to be very careful how you put things over.
Yes, I understand what
But you can understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I want to say thank you for letting me talk to you and bring us through, because I feel you've had a double message. You've had a message from a lady that's loving you for what you've done. And I've got, you're like your birth mother, but was there, but was never there when you needed her. That's how it is. So it's lovely. You've had
Yes.
really two messages. And I say, God bless you. Thank you very, very much. I thank you, sir, very much. Come, hello, my lovey. Can I come see you? The black jumper. Thank you. You're very empty inside. All your life you've been a busy bee. Very busy bee. And sometimes that busy bee's gone. No, it's not there to do. 'Cause this is, got a husband in the spirit world, please.
Yes.
Because I feel it's him that's telling me how you were always on the go. Independent man, your husband. I really feel he's standing there independent, but I don't feel I'm very loving, but you always knew you were well loved. Could you understand how I'm putting that? You are so well loved. I want to say his work, I'm trying to get what he used to do, but he would do lots of different things that came along.
Yes.
I don't feel he had trade as much, but I feel there's lots of little jobs that used to come along, and he'd work when he had to, when the needs must. A cheeky chappy though, actually. Very cheeky chappy as he comes along. He's got that wonderful personality that he could get away with anything. As he's coming through, his personality is, oh well, it'll get done. And everyone would rally around at the last minute to make sure it was done. But it wasn't always him that got it done. It was other people around him that would get it done. He's saying between you, sometimes life was quite hard. It wasn't easy. And this is what was keeping you going, because you had to work to keep things going. This is how he's putting it. But he's got lovely eyes for you. Can I put it that way? His eyes are for you. It's very difficult to put it, because no one else can see what I see. And his eyes are looking at you as I'm listening to him here, as I'm listening to her. So there was so much love and respect for you, but he never always showed it, because he was that sort of personality. He just couldn't do that the way he is. His hands were, well, a bit rough and ready because of everything that he used to do. You know, I really feel so, I don't know whether I worked on like a chippy or something. Cars. Yeah, this is it. I've got my hands a bit rough, a bit greasy. I got, all of a sudden I've got grease on them. I'm putting that soap on, some special soap on my hands to get this off. I don't know why I keep rubbing my hands, but I've got to get it off. And this is how he said, when he came home at night, he used to have to wash his hands and get this off. He loved his family, but he didn't always show it. Because I really feel there was a bit of a separation. All of a sudden, now he's sort of walking back. I didn't know what I lost. You could, this is how he's putting it. This is why I've got my only eyes for you now, because he walked away from things. He didn't take on his, he's telling me now that he didn't take on his responsibilities at all. And you had to work. This is how it, I felt to tell him, why didn't you tell me this in the first place, you know? But he would keep things back, wouldn't he? I didn't really like to show what he'd let everybody down. Because I say, things got done in the end, but it wasn't always him that did it. It was somebody else who was doing it. But he has come through just to be remembered. And apologise for some of the rough times you had. But he really did fall in love with you in those early years. But other things got in the way. He said you brought the family up beautifully. But it was you that put 100% in, where he only showed himself occasionally. Things really were hard, that he was telling me, for you. But isn't she doing well now? But you're so used to being busy, you would like to be busy again. This is how he's putting it. But so much love. Although we can't, there is love from the spirit world for you. But he never showed it. He missed out. But he wants to know he loved you very much. And I say, God bless you. Thank you very much for talking to me. He's a hard nut to handle, actually. Well, you know, when he's coming through and you don't really know what the next bit he's going to do. I want to do this with him, and then he says something else, or he jumps from one thing together. This is why I couldn't get him to do one job. There's always something else to jump to. Something would change his mind, or somebody else would come into his life, you know, and it would alter around. And that is how he was, why he was here on here. He said, I'm learning. I thought it was about time, but he's been up there for a little while, isn't it?
Yeah.
I say, God bless you.
Thank you very much.
lovely to get these different personalities. I'm learning all the time from different personalities, isn't it? You never think you're going to keep learning from being up here, do you? I really would like to come to the young lady over there. Hello. You're fairly new into spirit. Fairly new. You're reading books on spirit.
No,
Why aren't you reading books?
not got the time really.
May I give you a lady in the spirit world who's very close to you, a family. I want to cry with this lady because there's so much love as she's coming through to you. You miss her big time. I'm getting choked up with her as she comes through. She had a very warm heart, which was always full of love. She was your guiding angel. Is this your mum? Or yeah, yeah.
Like a second mum.
A second mum, because I've got a mum love here, like a stepmum. You know, it's got that motherly feeling with her. But I don't feel she was your biological mum. You know,
Surrogate mum.
huh? Surrogate
Say
mum.
surrogate
Yeah.
mum.
So you can understand where I'm coming from for that feeling, with that. He's She was the sort of lady that you could go to ask anything. She would be there to give you advice and to give you some upliftment when needed. But she hasn't been over long.
Not really, no. Not really, no.
No, not a long time. To you it's yesterday. How you feel inside. And this is what she's telling me. She was a lady that had a strong personality, and I'm fairly taller than me, a little bit taller than me. I like nice clothes, and she was very good with her hands. I'm sewing, you know? So I'm really doing things with my hands, and very much. But while she was doing that, she could talk.
Oh, definitely.
This is really, that was her relaxation, her hobby, and she was very good and very clever with her hands as she's going along. And I could even see her making dresses.
Not really, adjustments.
Well, I've got a dress here and I'm being sewing up a dress, you know. So it's got to fit, you know. You can understand why I'm saying that. I'm getting in somebody's waist. I thought, oh, I wish mine would go in like that, you know. And this is how Spirit is giving it to me for you, just to let you know. She wanted to prove that she's here with you, and she understands your turmoil that you're going through at the moment, because there's changes going on in your life that you wish she was here to ask advice for. She said you can talk to her and you'll get guidance through the Spirit to which pathway, because you're like that at a crossroads, you know, to which way to go. But she will help you guide, and you've got to, she's telling me to tell you, to go really what you feel you would like to do, not what everybody else is telling you to do. Because whatever it is, if you don't do what you want to do, you'll always say to yourself, what if? You know what if? So go what you feel. She's telling me to tell you, go where you feel that's right for you. But there's some doors that have closed for you in your life. But another door's not open yet, but windows are opening, little windows for guidance, and that is going forward for you. So if you just take note of what's in each window as you go along, that door will open and will help you change. But this lady's beautiful, and as she's coming through with you today, and I've got that love and that give. You were her, I want to say to her, you were her daughter. You know, this is how I'm getting it, because I've got that mother love so much. But she died before her time. She was only a young person. And she's telling me to tell you she's not in any pain anymore. She's free, and she's got that smile back on her face. And she said, and she wants to see your smile back on your face. Do not worry, she's fine, but talk to her. Did she used to sing? Because I want to sing to you. Well, she's telling me to tell you to sing to her. That is what she's saying. So I've got this music going on in my head, this beautiful voice going on. So she telling me, you've got to sing to her. She's singing to you in the spirit world. So together you'll go along your pathway singing, but to keep you up and to have confidence in self. This is really what she's telling me to tell you, to have the confidence in yourself, because that's what you're lacking at the moment since she's passed over, because she gave you that confidence and it's not there at the present time. She's just said, put your feet firmly on the ground, be proud of who you are. You've got a long way to go yet. And I say, God bless you. Oh, thank you very, very much. Right then. Come over to the lady that's smiling here. I've got two ladies smiling here. I've got the whole lot smiling. It's a lovely, dear. Right then. Mum's in spirit. And Dad's in spirit.
Yes.
Because they're both together. I've got male and I've got female. But they weren't always together here on the earth plane.
That's right.
Because although I've got one there, I've got the separation
Yeah.
here. But they still come together because you're their daughter.
Okay.
That is the only thing that keeps them together, is you and what you're getting on in life. You're aware more of your mum in the spirit world.
Yes.
Although your dad doesn't come in very often,
No, he doesn't.
because he's a naughty boy.
Yes, he is.
All of a sudden I got my hand behind my back and said, I'm naughty. I walked out. Or
Yes. Well, he was pushed really, but
he was.
He was pushed, but it's the same.
But he went.
Yeah.
I just feel, I don't know whether he was pushed or pulled, but he went.
Yeah.
And you didn't have as much contact as you would have liked.
No, that's right.
You know, he went on and had another life,
Yes.
entirely different.
Yes.
Your mum was a very independent lady, in her way. She knew what she wanted in life. Didn't mean to say you didn't get all the love. You know, that was all there, because she loved her family very much. I thought you got a sibling.
Yes, I do. Yes.
I mean, you're not an only child. You see,
No.
this is because she said, I love my children. I love my home, and I love making home. At least I could make the decisions on my own, you know, as she wanted it.
Yes.
You're a bit like your mum, aren't you?
I look like her.
Yes.
That's not what you mean, is it?
No. You do look like your mum, but no, that's not what I mean. You can be independent.
I can be.
You can be, but but I really feel not as hard as your mum.
No.
All right? Can I put it that way?
Yes.
So she's telling me, But your mum brought you up in a strict way. Right is right, wrong is wrong, black is black and white is white, you know,
Yes.
in that way. And that's how she brought you up, and that's how you've gone on your life. You daren't do anything wrong because you know you'd get caught.
I did get caught a lot.
As a child you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is what she's telling me. You know, that's why I'm saying, you know, she daren't go do anything wrong. She'd find out, whatever, your mum. She had a lovely warm sense about her, although she worked very hard to keep a roof over your head. Money didn't come easily to her. She had to work for everything. But she could always hold her head up with pride. This is how I've got you, Mum. Independent. I like to look nice. People thought I had more than I had because she always put that facade on, you know, that everything was smart. She reminds me of like I was when I was a one-parent family, you know. It might have come from Woolies, the clothes, but as long as you mix and match right, it all looks right. Can you understand?
Yes. I know.
Exactly. It doesn't matter where it came from, as long as you've got one from there and one from there, one from the second-hand shop. It all fits in.
Yeah.
Very smart, because she liked to look smart. And everybody respected your mum. She was a respected person.
Yes.
I really feel I worked hard. But she had a good brain on her. Independent lady.
Yes.
She's telling me you have made different pathways in your life. I know there was one pathway and you changed to the other way.
Yes, I did.
This is all I'm getting pathways here, that you're veering off to another side. But now you're content where you are.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
You're happy where you are. You know you can sit, you can relax, and you can go forward whichever way you want. You're aware of spirit around you at times. I don't know if you sit in a circle, but I really feel the spirit is there making contact with you
Yes.
from what I see from here. So there is a lot of love from the spirit world. And with you, and to take one step at a time,
Okay.
one step at a time, and that's the way life will go. Thank you very much for letting me talk.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Phyllis. A few quick notices for the week. Tomorrow we have our Holistic Health Day. That's between 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock. We have Brian Walker here, a psychic healer, Debs with her bioresonance scanner, and Elle working with reflexology. Further details, there is a poster up in the hall and also on our Facebook page of details of all those different therapies we have available. Friday night, we have an online Zoom demonstration with Jack Eckhart from Denmark, Frederick Hagland from Sweden, and Stevie Trollen from Scotland. That starts at 7 p.m. BST. There is a link page both on the website and the Facebook page, and indeed the pages of all three of these gentlemen. On Saturday evening, we will be having a Lyceum talk at 7 p.m. That will be live online. Sunday morning at 11 a.m, our Divine service will be a Lyceum service. So where the philosophy would normally be during the service, that will be a little piece of history about spiritualism. And taking that service is Andy Ford from Salisbury. On Friday the 21st, we have an evening demonstration of mediumship with Ewan Irvin, who is down here with us for the weekend from Edinburgh. That's at 7 p.m. at a cost of £10. On the Saturday, the 22nd, he is holding a mediumistic development workshop from 10 till 4. Tickets are available. And then on Sunday, the 23rd, he will be with us taking our Divine service at 11 a.m. That concludes the notices, and if I could hand over to Phyllis now for the closing blessing. Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you, Spirit, for being with us today. Heavenly Father, we say thank you for being with us today. We say thank you for our friends and the communications and the proof of the continuation of life. May that love stay in our hearts until we all come together again. May each home have your protection. May they all be filled with your love. And the love that has resonated here today, may it go out throughout the world where it is needed most. Amen.
Amen. Phyllis, thank you. Marvellous service. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Always a great pleasure. Oh, there you go. And well deserved too. Yeah. Thank you everybody for being here today and joining us with us in church. Thank you too for those joining us online. We look forward to seeing you again shortly, whenever that may be. So thank you all. Cup of tea?
Ask my